presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Wisconsin.
Beautiful afternoon for matinee baseball here in Milwaukee. We welcome you to Miller Park. Should have a nice family crowd on hand here on this Wednesday afternoon. A special one for the Brewers as they close out a short three-game homestand against the first-place Cincinnati Reds in Milwaukee. Looking for some broomsticks somewhere in the crowd today. Pitching matchup, right-hander Matt Latos and lefty Randy Wolf. Wolf looking for only his second victory since April, trying to pitch his Brewers to rare sweep of the Cincinnati Reds. Hi everybody, David Nelson and Craig Kashan back with you as our coverage of Brewers baseball continues here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And the Reds were hot coming into the series, but Mike Fiers literally caught fire in yesterday's game, flirting with a perfect game going into the seventh inning and setting the stage for a potential sweep today.
It certainly did. And, and the one thing about Mike Fiers, when he was called up, he was going to either be 1 or 2 starts, they told him. And you know what? It's been 12 starts. He's made the most of it, and it seems like he gets better every start. So he was outstanding last night, had everything going for him. And, kids watching this, command, throw strikes.
He's definitely got that going, a 101 ERA in his last 9 starts. Fiers hot on the mound. Ramirez is hot at the plate. VA and Rock share some numbers with you that include leading the National League.
Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
Just about set for baseball today. Matinee baseball at Miller Park, and Aramis Ramirez, he has been red hot. He is putting together a terrific run, and it's turned into be a terrific season for him offensively. You see what he's done over his last month's worth of games, hitting .377 with 6 home runs during that time. Hit a big home run last night. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Brewers go after a sweep today of the Cincinnati Reds. 2 very compelling ball games. The previous 2, Mike Fiers was outstanding at Rockwell. It's fun to watch some of these rookie pitchers, some of these new names, new faces do well. It's the old standby, the known commodities that are putting their stake in the ground as well, and that was Ramirez last night.
Yeah, you know, it's all about the approach for Aramis Ramirez. You know, the Brewers have seen Ramirez tear up Brewers pitching over the years, but really don't remember him hitting the ball to the opposite field like he's been able to do. His batting average is near 300. He's got a very good approach at the plate. He's pulling the baseball. Most of his hits are coming around left center down to the right field line in this series so far against the Reds, which is a big one for Milwaukee. 4 for 8, a couple of home runs. He's been driving in runs. He's leading the league in doubles, and not much more Aramis Ramirez can do lately after a very slow start.
And now hitting .295 for the season. The Brewers go after 3 in a row against the Reds, trying to sweep the division leaders. It's coming up next. Randy Wolf, Matt Latos on Fox Sports Wisconsin. This afternoon from Miller Park, and Randy Wolf leads the crew out onto the field today in the home whites. Final game of this brief 3-game homestand. The Brewers are headed to Houston, Texas tomorrow. Great to have you with us today. Milwaukee comes in with a record of 50-59 and still trying to fight their way back to 500, while the Reds, the division leaders, at 66-44. They have the second best record in baseball to start play today. Only the Nationals have a better mark. Dusty Baker in his 5th year, trying to make it a playoff appearance for the 2nd time in his tenure as the Cincinnati skipper. They were the division winners in 2010. Piggly Wiggly batting order for Dusty Baker, Chris Heisey, Wilson Valdez, Brandon Phillips at the top, Jay Bruce, Ryan Ludwig, and Todd Frazier in the middle of the order. Dusty Baker has Miguel Cairo, Diana Navarro, and Matt Latos rounding it out. Randy Wolf is on the mound today for Milwaukee, going after his 4th win of the season.
And hoping to break a 2-game losing streak, making start number 22 this year. He's already made 23 career starts against Cincinnati. He's had a lot of success. He's 11-4.
Now the Brewers have gotten 2 very good starts in this series. Giovanni Gallardo and Mike Fiers. Gallardo went 7 innings on Monday night. Fiers went 8 yesterday and had 6 perfect innings in yesterday's game. And Wolf trying to carry it forward as Chris Heisey fouls one away. Check the Brewers defensively today behind Randy Wolf. A fly ball pitcher. Ryan Braun, Carlos Gomez, and Nori Aoki in the outfield. Ramirez and Segura on the left side with Weeks and Hart on the right side. And Maldonado gets a call behind the plate today with Wolf on the mound. Right back to the mound, Randy Wolf. 4-out number 1, and that's how his afternoon begins. One gone for Randy Wolf, and the 4-man umpiring crew today: Angel Campos, Tim Cheetah, Bill Welke, and Chris Guccione. Tim Cheetah is a crew chief. He's out at first base today. Cincinnati has only lost 3 in a row once this year. The Brewers have put them on a 3-game losing streak, having won the first 2 in this series. The Reds lost their final game against Pittsburgh. And the Reds' division lead is now at 3.5. The Pirates also losing yesterday, as Wilson Valdez on a hop to Ricky Weeks. 2 outs.
And regardless of what happens in the game today, the Reds will have lost their first series in the second half of the season. That's how well they've been playing. Very good road record this year, and the Brewers have played some pretty good baseball the last 2 days to take the first 2.
Cincinnati has only been swept once this year. That was at Cleveland in interleague play, so they have not been swept by a National League team. The Brewers would love to be the first and return the favor from the sweep in Cincinnati just a couple of weeks ago. Brandon Phillips comes in with a .289 average. That batting average has dropped since he has returned from a calf injury that knocked him out for 5 games.
Timing a little bit off for Brandon Phillips. He's just been a little bit behind fastball, a little bit out in front of the breaking pitch, and you hope the Reds get out of town before he starts to get dialed in.
Well, the Brewers have gone about their business in the perfect manner against Cincinnati. One thing about the Reds, when you oppose the Reds, you cannot afford to get behind late in games. There are very few late comebacks against this very talented, hard throwing Cincinnati bullpen. So the fact that the Brewers have not had to face Aroldis Chapman, they haven't seen Broxton, that gives you an idea of how they've played this series. They've had leads going into the late innings.
It's basically a 6 or 7 inning game when you play the Cincinnati Reds. Once you fall behind early, good luck to you because of that great bullpen.
Cincinnati still without some of their big names. There's Aroldis Chapman. You figure he'll pitch today, whether he's in a save situation or not. Dusty Baker doesn't like to leave his relievers off the field for too long. 0-2 on Brandon Phillips. No Scott Rowland in the batting order today. Joey Votto is still on the disabled list, although he was out doing baseball drills earlier today, did some sliding, ran the bases. He's close to coming back. And Brandon Phillips still not 100%. Now swing and a miss. Down he goes on strikes. Says, tag me out. I'm not ready to run yet. And the inning is over.
He's something else.
top of the first. Now Milwaukee coming up against Matt Latos, who is pitching well recently. Ron Renicky in his second season as the Brewers skipper, finally seeing his team play some good baseball here in this stretch of games. Piggly Wiggly batting order with Aoki leading off, Gomez and Braun to follow. Ramirez, Hart, and Weeks in the middle. Maldonado, Segura, and Randy Wolf round out the starting nine for Ron Renicky against Matt Latos, who has pitched extremely well over his last 3 games. 3 victories in his last 3, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and he's 10-3 on the season with a .394 earned run average. He had a complete game victory against Milwaukee back in Cincinnati in June. He's on a roll right now.
Nori Aoki leads off for the Brew Crew and takes ball 1. Pretty impressive top of the rotation for the Reds, especially if Latos pitches like the ace that they hoped he would be, and he has been that way lately. But Cueto and Latos, pretty formidable tandem at the top of the rotation, and that's why the Reds feel a lot better about their position this time around as they pursue a division title compared to 2010, when they really didn't have that ace. Aoki gets jammed, a little flare into center field. Chris Heisey will make the catch for the first out. Cincinnati defensively flanking Heisey. In left field is Ludwig. Over in right, Jay Bruce. Todd Frazier starts for Roland at third, with Valdez in for Cozart at short. Got Phillips and Cairo on the right side. Deanna Navarro gets his first start of the series. Carlos Gomez now with 1 away. Back in the starting lineup tonight. Nigel Morgan started the first 2 of this series. Gomez with 9 homers, 28 runs batted in, and hits that one high in the air to center. Heisey again. 2 outs.
Yeah, the Brewers remember very well what Latos did to them back in Cincinnati in June. He had a very good slider, which is one of the reasons why you're going to see the Brewers attack early in the count. You get a fastball you like, you better go after it, because his slider on that particular night was basically unhittable.
Well, Matt Latos has won his last 3, but against Milwaukee back on June 25th, he went the distance. He had back-to-back complete games that week, and that earned him National League Player of the Week for that particular week of June. He went the distance against the Brewers and the Giants, giving up just 1 run apiece to those teams. And against Milwaukee, Rocky struck out 13 and gave up just 4 hits in that game.
Yeah, he was something else. It was all about that slider. And he's got a good one. He throws a fastball in the mid-90s. He'll throw a changeup and a curveball once in a while. But if he's got that slider working, he can be tough.
Ryan Braun with 2 outs. Braun on the homestand. Just 3 hits. Hitting .304 with 29 home runs and 74 driven in. Able to lay off.
That's that slider right there. It's a good one.
Now it's 1-2. Braun.
Tim Cheetah said he couldn't hold up. He went through.
Yeah, it looked like he was able to check it, but not the case according to the first base umpire and the crew chief. And instead of being 2-1, Braun down in the count, and down he goes. So Braun strikes out, and a good start for Latos today. 1-2-3 with a K.
Coach Rick Kranitz told me Randy Wolf is close to having the kind of command he had in the second half of last season. His stuff is good. He's just had a few tough breaks that have led to big innings. Randy told me he's looked at tape from good outings in the past. He noticed he was rushing his delivery. Now he wants to slow things down a bit, get better results, guys. He felt like rushing the delivery made him less deceptive.
Well, this is a very important stretch for Randy Wolf for a couple of reasons, both for him personally and certainly for the ball club. Rick Kranitz keeping a close eye on his 35-year-old starting pitcher in his third year with the Milwaukee Brewers. And Rock, you mentioned he's a free agent at season's end, and for Randy Wolf, he's trying to put some pieces together. Now, Wolf should have won a lot more games than the 3 that is on the board right now. There have been 8 leads given up that Wolf has left the game in the lead, and the bullpen has let it get away.
Yeah,
So
Randy will tell you that he probably could have gone deeper into games and given himself a better chance. He leaves the game in the 5th, 6th innings, and a lot of things can happen. But you're right, he's pitched a lot better than his record would tell you. And Mark Cannon was talking about the big inning that happened to him back in St. Louis's last start, a 4-run 4th inning. Other than that, he was very good against the Cardinals.
Wolf has typically been a second-half pitcher as he faces Jay Bruce, and he strikes him out. 2 strikeouts for Randy Wolf. He's retired the first 4.
Yeah, it's Miller time in the Miller Lite Beer Pen every Friday night here at Miller Park. Fans 21 and older can get a Lowe's bleacher ticket and a free T-shirt for only $22.
Matinee baseball at Miller Park. Great weather today as well. It's a little cloudy up above. You got some cloud cover and cool temperatures. Ludwig takes a ball down and in. Ryan Ludwig was in the middle of a key moment last night. Mike Fiers thought he was being taken out with Ludwig announced as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. 2 men on base. As a matter of fact, he was handing the baseball to Ron Renneke. As Renneke came to the mound, Renneke said, wait, I'm not taking you out. I just want to know, do you have enough in the tank? And he goes, oh, sure. And he stuck with Fiers, and Fiers struck out Ryan Ludwig to end the inning and get through 8 complete.
Yep, a 7-pitch at bat. All fastballs except one curveball, and able to get him on a pitch up.
I asked Fiers about that scene yesterday, earlier today, about the scene on the mound yesterday, and he said, Renneke's never come to the mound and not taken me out, so I just assumed he was taking me out, but I didn't want to come out of the game.
Ron Renneke doesn't have his hand out. He doesn't want the baseball.
I told Mike he had a nice little fake out there.
A lot of times the manager go out there and just get a sense for what the pitcher is thinking in that particular situation. It's a good thing Renneke didn't listen to him.
2 gone as he retires Ludwig again. But you brought it up last night, and just to cap off the outing of Mike Fiers, that at bat showed you the kind of competitor that he is, because he stuck with his fastball against a guy who has great power, has 19 home runs, and a home run would have put the Reds in the lead at the time. He didn't waver from it, and he struck him out on a fastball.
And in that 8th inning, he threw his best fastball as far as velocity goes, 91 miles an hour. That was it, and he's able to get it by him.
Just goes to show you that a located fastball is much better than a fastball with velocity sometimes, when you don't know where it's going and you have velocity.
Well, that and real good command of your off-speed pitches, change-ups, curveballs, cutters. Kind of changes that perspective for the hitter up there.
Wolf against Todd Frazier, who gets the start at third base today. He and Roland have been sharing time at third base, but since Joey Votto's been on the disabled list, Todd Frazier has been playing mostly first base during this stretch. Today Miguel Cairo gets a call at first base.
Yeah, Dusty Baker has 4 of his regular players on the bench today. Cozart, Stubbs, Roland, and Ryan Hannigan, the catcher. Cincinnati goes to Chicago for a 4-game series after today. Brewers have an off day.
Brewers trying to hang the 4th loss in a row on Cincinnati today. Let me correct something I said last inning. The Reds have only one 4-game losing streak this season. Part of that was the sweep against the Indians, and then they lost against the Minnesota Twins right after that for 4 consecutive losses. That's the only time all year they've lost 4 in a row, and they've only been swept 1 time during that same stretch. For the most part, they've been a very consistent ball club. Frazier pops it up. Corey Hart running out of real estate.
Randy Wolf really trying to establish inside. Ron Renicky always says that one of the most important pitches for Randy Wolf is that fastball in the inside corner to a right-handed batter. Really opens up the outside corner if he's able to throw it for strikes.
Full count to Frazier. Got him. Randy Wolf strikes out 2 in the 2nd inning. 3 for the game. Inning. A reminder, you can visit MLB.com/fan guide to register for a chance to win a VIP experience for 2 to a 2012 MLB World Series game. It's presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Aramis Ramirez leads off. Randy Wolf with 2 scoreless on the board. Matt Latos retired the Brewers in order in the 1st. And now Ramirez, who hit a 2-run home run in the 1st inning yesterday against Johnny Cueto. Home run number 15 of the year for Ramirez, and now 70 runs batted in. He is just 4 RBIs shy of Ryan Braun at this point, which you would have never have guessed if you go back to mid-May when he was hitting .218 off to one of the worst starts of his career, but he has more than recovered from that.
Well, he was trying to pull everything back in those days, but that's not been the case lately. Last couple of months. He's shooting the ball to the opposite field up the middle.
Now this was last night, and it got the Brewers jump started. You knew runs were going to be hard to come by with Cueto and Fiers matching up against each other, but Ramirez right away in the 1st inning got a fastball up, and he did not miss it.
Yep, last 62 games for Aramis Ramirez, hitting at a .340 clip, raising his average from .218 to .295. That's some pretty good hitting.
2-1 on Ramirez. Latos misses down and away. The 6'6" Floridian Matt Latos, just 24 years of age. And he walks Ramirez. A man on to start this second inning. Now this MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. To learn more, we invite you to visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Corey Hart with a man on to start the second. Hart homered on Monday night. Was the second in a back-to-back home run inning for Milwaukee, and a 3 home run inning in a victory over Cincinnati Monday. That was a 6-3 win.
And Bronson Arroyo somewhat cruising through the first few innings, and then had that blow-up inning, and the Brewers able to chase him.
Brewers won last night 3-1. Milwaukee is playing a game of streaks here lately. The Brewers won 3 in a row against the Astros, swept that series here at Miller Park. Went on the road, lost 3 in a row to the Cardinals, and have now won the first 2 games in this series and are in a position to sweep the division leading Reds.
Home success pretty good for the Brewers this year. I mean, they've been able to rack up some wins. They got a 32-26 record here at Miller Park. Much different on the road.
Brewers are 18-33 away from Miller Park. Hard lays off. 3 balls and a strike.
And Leto's struggling with his command much more than he did in that last start against Milwaukee in June. He was able to get ahead of hitters, and because of that, he had the Brewers chasing that slider off the outside corner. They're not going to do much of that if he's behind in the count.
Yeah, Hart chased one. Full count on Corey Hart. In the air to left, slightly off the end of the bat. And that'll stay in the ballpark as Ludwig makes a catch. 1 gone here in the second inning with Ramirez retreating to first. That'll bring up Ricky Weeks. Matt Latos coming off a win his last start. That was Friday against the Pirates. He also hit a 2-run home run in that game. 3-0 with a 1.77 ERA in his last 3 starts. He's done a lot of winning in his home ballpark as well. 6 of his 10 wins have come at Great American Ballpark. He's 6-2 in Cincinnati this year.
Yeah, he started out the season 0-2. He lost his first 2 decisions. One to the Marlins, one to the Cardinals, and since that time he's gone 10-1. He has thrown the baseball very well.
4-1 on the road this season. He tweaked his ankle a couple of weeks ago against the Houston Astros. Had to come out of a game in the 5th inning. But no problems with the ankle following that. He did miss a start, and since he's come back from that ankle injury, he has been dominant the last 2 starts. And he's been a guy that can typically put up a lot of pitches early in games, and pitch count is usually what gets him. That's why the complete game against Milwaukee was a breakthrough for him, according to the Reds personnel. He throws a lot of pitches, as he's showing us here in the second inning.
And he gives up a lot of home runs. He's given up 20 this year. He'll cruise along and, hang a slider, maybe get behind and get a fastball down the middle, and very susceptible to the long ball.
Goes from the pitcher-friendly Petco Park, pitching for the Padres, to Cincinnati and the hitter-friendly Great American Ballpark. I can't think of two ends of the spectrum further apart than that. Petco and Great American Ballpark.
Right. That might be the best pitcher's park in baseball.
Especially at night. Latos had a big year in 2010, was a 14-game winner with the Padres, had a 2.92 ERA. He looked like the ace of the future, but it was very interesting that San Diego wanted to trade him. They did get 3 players in return, 3 big leaguers in return. It was a 4-player deal, or a 5-player deal, 4 going to San Diego as Latos rings up Ricky Weeks. Second strikeout for Matt Latos.
Yep, caught the inside corner of the fastball. Ricky probably looking away. Everything was away in that at bat until that pitch, and Ricky probably thought it was a bit low. A little bit too close to take with 2 strikes.
So a leadoff walk by Ramirez. He's still standing at first base, and here's Martin Maldonado. I don't know if the San Diego Padres thought about trading Latos. I mean, that wasn't the priority this offseason, but the Reds made him an offer they couldn't refuse. Yonder Alonso, who's playing first base every day for San Diego, Brad Boxberger, Yasmani Grandal, and Edinson Volquez, who ended up being the Padres' opening day starter. Those were the particulars involved in acquiring Matt Latos from San Diego. It's a lot to give up.
Yep. Yeah, Padres going young. They figure that that's a good move for them. Hopefully, Padres are thinking those guys will develop, and the Reds needed a starter for right now, and they got a good one. Volquez throwing the baseball pretty good for San Diego.
Yes, he is.
A change of scenery did him well.
Reds figured they weren't going to be able to sign Volquez to a long-term deal. He turned that offer down. So instead of just losing him outright, they traded him away and picked up a pretty big piece of the process. But they did have to give up a couple of good young hitters. Dusty Baker, terrific player in his day and a mentor of sorts to Ron Renicky when Baker was a player and outfielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Renicky was coming up through the system as a prospect. Ron Renicky still speaks very highly of Dusty Baker and vice versa. There goes Ramirez, slow roller over to third. Frazier will make the play, and Latos works around a leadoff walk. Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Carsoup.com, email the booth question today. Rock, this is for you. What's your favorite Olympic sport, and which one would you be the best at, Brandon, in lacrosse?
Now we're assuming we're talking about the Summer Olympics.
Sure. Since it is the summer.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the gymnastics. You know, men and women gymnastics. I think those people are incredibly talented, what they're able to do, and that would be the last thing that I think I would be good at.
Miguel Cairo with a little flare, a base hit to right. And there is the first Cincinnati hit. Comes to lead off the third inning.
I can't really think of anything that they do in the Olympics that I feel as though I would be good at.
I got a good one for you. Archery.
Yeah, I enjoy archery, but I am not in the class of those guys. I mean, that's a lot of fun, that sport. Head over to Buck Rub over here in Pewaukee from time to time and enjoy a winter's day inside shooting arrows. That's a good time. But
archery is growing in popularity after the Hunger Games movie.
Yeah.
Every teenage, preteen little girl that I know, including my own daughter, wants to get into archery now.
Archery is very popular amongst the Brewer players. But those guys are incredible in the Olympics. How about you? What's your favorite?
As Navarro sends one to left, that is hooking foul. I'm into the track.
Yeah.
Track and field, the sprinters. Watching Usain Bolt the other day was tremendous. Mind-boggling how fast he is. But we haven't had a whole lot of opportunities to watch the Olympics.
No.
Been working. That one's hit well left field. And that one will stay fair, and it is gone. A two-run home run by Deontay Navarro. And it is the Reds who grabbed the first lead today.
Yeah, it looked like a cut fastball that stayed up and out over the plate, and Navarro, who ripped one foul down the left field line, able to keep this one fair. There it is, the cutter, and didn't get it in far enough, and Navarro, sunglasses and all, able to knock that one out of here, so the Reds take an early lead.
It's his first home run as a Red. This is a guy who made an all-star team in the American League as a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. A hot shot back up the middle. Matt Latos, the pitcher, with a base hit. 3 consecutive hits against Randy Wolf.
No, this is the kind of an inning that we were talking about early on, the big inning for Randy Wolf. He's got to be able to minimize the damage and stop it right now. A 4-run fourth cost him a game against the Cardinals. You know, the bottom 3 in the order able to get it done for the Reds. Now he's got to deal with the top.
A very similar story against St. Louis, where the bottom of the order did some damage, including the pitcher, and Randy Wolf, before you knew it, was down 4 runs quickly, or 3 runs quickly. Chris Heisey at the top of the order. A swing and a miss.
Yeah, that game the Brewers had a 3-0 lead. They got a 3-run second, and then that 4-run fourth inning cost Randy Wolf that lead.
That was a game the Cardinals scored 9 unanswered runs and won it 9-3 last Friday. When they talk about momentum in this game, it's all about the starting pitching. That is an old cliche because it's true. As Wolf strikes out Heisey, That's his 4th strikeout. That's a big out for him, the first of the inning.
And momentum starts in the first inning. You don't get really a whole lot of momentum day to day in baseball. It just doesn't work that way. It's all about how that starting pitcher is working and keep the opposition off the board early. That's where you get your momentum. It doesn't really carry over day to day.
Wilson Valdez getting the start at short for the Reds today. For the talented rookie, Zach Cozart. All of his playing time that Dusty Baker has been forced to give to some of the bench players, and we're talking about guys like Frazier and Heisey, in the absence of Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips for a spell, is only going to help Cincinnati down the stretch. If they get these players healthy again, which Joey Votto's on the comeback trail, Phillips is already back in the lineup, but sometimes when you go through a season and your top players get injured and the team has success like the Reds have, that helps you in a pennant race, because now you have guys with confidence getting regular playing time in the middle of a season, which they might not ordinarily get. Joey Votto plays every day and typically plays every inning of every game when he's in the lineup. So
yeah, and they get a sense that they're contributing, not sitting on the bench, maybe pinch running or coming in for defense. You get them some starts and they feel as though they're part of the ball club. I mean, since Votto's been out, the Reds have played very well, winning a lot of games, and because of that, the bench players feel like they've been a big part of that, and that carries over as the season goes on.
Well, the Reds are 10 games over 500 in the absence of Joey Votto. They're 16-6. Chopper to third. Ramirez, he'll go to second for one. They get the lead out at second base as Latos is erased. Fielder's choice for Valdez. 2 away now for Randy Wolf. And even with the current 3-game losing streak, the Reds have still won 15 of their last 19 games and 22 of their last 28.
And doing it in large part because of their pitching. I mean, their starting rotation is very good. Their bullpen the best in the National League. Their offense has been up and down, but that's the way offenses go for every team. You're not going to be able to score 5, 6, 7 runs a night. Pitching and defense, and the Reds have both of those.
Well, Dusty Baker is anxious to get Joey Votto back in the fold. And he could return in Chicago. He's making a push to return against the Cubs in the next series for Cincinnati. Don't know if Dusty Baker will allow him to do so, but Votto's doing all he can to prove that he's ready to go. He had a meniscus tear which required surgery. Same injury Corey Hart had this spring. And running the bases is step one. Step 2 is sliding.
There you go. Yeah, all that, all well and good, but nowhere near game speed. When you're in that batter's box, you get a quick burst out of that batter's box after hitting a baseball. I mean, you can control that quick burst, when you're just working out before a game. Those instincts take over, and that's when you're going to experience some problems if you do that too early.
Dusty Baker's right in saying that we're trying to get Votto to the point of no setbacks, as Phillips with a base hit back up the middle, and his first hit since returning. So 4 hits in the inning against Randy Wolf.
Phillips doing a nice job waiting back in that big slow curveball from Randy Wolf that ended up around the belt. That's not where you want it. That was at 68 miles an hour. You get that ball down around the shoe tops, it's a much better pitch. Randy Wolf has been fighting that curveball all season.
Phillips had been 0 for 9 until that hit, after missing those 5 games. Now Jay Bruce, and a big test early for Randy Wolf. He's given up 2 runs here on a 2-run homer by Navarro. Matt Latos is tough enough to handle down a couple of runs.
Jay Bruce has always been very good against lefties and has been very good against Randy Wolf.
Foul territory. Will it stay playable? Ramirez is over, and he cannot get there. Jay Bruce, lifetime against Randy Wolf. A .409 hitter. 9 hits, 2 of those home runs. He's walked 3 times as well.
And when he's going good, it doesn't matter if it's a left-hander or a right-hander out there on the mound. That guy can hit. Joey Votto's had good success against Randy Wolf. But Wolf has been able to control the rest of the lineup. It's kind of interesting that the 2 lefties have hit him well.
Wolf breaks his bat. Corey Hart ranging over, and a high throw, but Bruce runs right into the tag. Wow. Like running through the tape at the finish line. Wolf just stuck the glove out there, and Bruce ran right into it.
Time now to create a little social media, and Sophia Minner is here, of course, our handle on our Twitter account at FS Wisconsin. We're going to ride the firestorm. Mike Fiers has been flying under the radar, but not so much anymore.
No, absolutely. Fran saw a gem last night from Mike Fiers as he took that perfect game into the 7th inning. And after the game, manager Ron Renneke said, absolutely, it's time for people to start talking about Fiers as an NL Rookie of the Year candidate. So, Brewers fans, we want to hear from you. Ron Renneke said he should be considered as a candidate. Do you agree, and why? You can tweet us at FS Wisconsin with the hashtag Fiers, ROY. And Bill and Brian, you know, it's time, you know, for him to be considered with the AL might be wrapped up with Mike Trout, but in the NL, that race seems to be a little bit more wide open.
I think you're right. Well, certainly Bryce Harper is the name that pops in your mind immediately, but Harper's cooled a little bit while Trout has taken off. Trout, who has celebrated his 21st birthday yesterday, doing it all at such a young age. The 19-year-old Harper has cooled somewhat. I think Wade Miley was on a lot of people's minds in the first half. He was an all-star, an 11-game winner at the time, and Miley continues to pitch well for the Diamondbacks. So I think there are plenty of names out there. I don't think Mike Fiers is the first name that people think of, but if he keeps pitching like this, he will certainly pitch his way into contention for that award, and you certainly must think about him in that regard. As Randy Wolf, a little shallow fly ball, Bruce will run under it for the out.
Yeah, it's not just that he's had the good record and he's throwing. I mean, he has been dominating teams every start that he's been out there. I mean, it's been incredible to watch what he's been able to do. And again, yesterday against the Reds was the first time he'd faced a team more than once. So everybody was thinking, all right, they got to see him once. They're going to get a better idea of what he's got. But it really didn't matter because he was outstanding.
He was better second time around against the same opponent.
And there is a number of precedents where, a guy coming up in May, late May, early May, that you can still win the award. Look at Ryan Braun, right?
Yep, he came up in late May in 2007 to win the Rookie of the Year award. It's all about a body of work. Obviously, Fiers is going to need to pick up some wins. Probably needs to get to double digits in victories and keep his ERA around 2. If it's under 2, that helps his cause, but it's tough to keep that kind of pace. But Fiers has been doing it every 5th day. He has been a joy to watch.
Well, just think about what you're asking him to do. Keep his ERA around 2.
And win double digits.
I mean, who can do that? Who does that anymore? 2.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how good he's been.
6-4 with a 1.80 ERA. He actually lowered his ERA with that effort yesterday. 1 run in 8 innings. 2 quick outs here of the Brewer 3rd inning. And Latos has Aoki down to the count 1-2. The heavily tattooed Matt Latos. Every time I see him, he has another tattoo.
A work in progress. You only have so much skin.
Well, he's got plenty of canvas to work with there.
6'6". Yep. Talk about a commitment, right? I mean, that's a lifelong commitment right there. Those tattoos.
You're in.
I'm not willing to make that commitment. I change my mind a lot.
Judging by your scorebook, you'd probably have an armful of just scratch outs.
White out.
As Aoki takes the ball. 2-2 the count on Nori Aoki.
I changed my mind about this skull and crossbones on my neck.
I'll just tattoo it out. Put a big giant circle. Call it a moon. Call it a waxing gibbous.
Right.
Aoki serves one into left. A base hit.
That's a beauty, isn't it?
An expert batsman, Nori Aoki. That's the word that comes to mind when you see a hit like that. Hey, a reminder, Fox Saturday Baseball returns August 18th. The postseason push gets into full swing. Red Sox, Yankees, or Pirates, Cardinals in St. Louis. Fox Saturday Baseball returns August 18th, 2:30 Central. Check your local listings for the game and start time in your area. Nori Aoki extends his hitting streak to 11 games. And he brings Carlos Gomez up. Brewers down 2-0. Gomez towards short. Valdez will go the easy way, and just like that, the inning is over. Latos with 3 shutout on the board. Reds lead 2-0.
Park today. Good couple of innings for Randy Wolf. 3 strikeouts through the first 2 innings. Matt Latos continues to pitch well against Milwaukee. Scoreless through 3. And Deoner Navarro, his first home run this year. A 2-run shot to give Cincinnati a 2-0 lead as we head to the 4th.
Good crowd on hand on a Wednesday afternoon. Off day tomorrow for the Brewers. The Reds are headed to Chicago to start a series with the Cubs. Brewers will head out on a road trip beginning Friday in Houston. 3-game series in Houston, 3 in Colorado after that. Ryan Ludwig leads off for Cincinnati. Reds got 2 in the 3rd inning on 4 hits. Wolf gave up that 2-run home run, but was able to pitch out of a jam with Jay Bruce at the plate, stranding a couple of base runners. Quick trip to the mound for Maldonado, as he has Ludwig down on the count 0-2, but a pitch he got away with on that foul ball by Ludwig. Ludwig will be followed by Todd Frazier, then Miguel Cairo. And Wolf trying to get the Brewers back to the dugout. The heavy hitters are coming up in the 4th. Ryan Braun will lead off.
And trying to get Ludwig to chase that high fastball. That's the pitch that he swung through on Mike Fiers last night in the 8th inning. But Ludwig not biting on it against Wolf today.
Slow curve. Ludwig out in front. Lazy fly ball to left. Braun easily runs under it. 1 gone in the 4th inning. AT&T trivia today. Which 2 active Brewers pitchers have won games in the 90s, the 2000s, and the 10s? 2 active pitchers have won games through those 3 decades. Randy Wolf would be a good candidate at 35 years of age.
That guy out in the Brewers bullpen, pretty good chance at it. Livan Hernandez.
Starting pitching has been so good in this series, we haven't seen Hernandez. Yesterday it was Fiers and Jim Henderson. What a moment for Jim Henderson yesterday to pick up his first career major league save.
And who would have thought, breaking spring training, that would be the case. Mike Fiers, 8 solid innings, and Jim Henderson, his first career major league save. He would say, Jim who?
There's Jim Henderson in the middle.
Impressive performance last night, throwing strikes.
He said he threw the first 2 pitches and had to step back and calm himself down. His adrenaline was racing last night. Now, he's been closing games in AAA, but he pointed out that there's no 3rd deck in AAA and 40,000 people watching him. So after that 2-0 count to start, he settled down and had a 1-2-3 inning. And that was a very welcome sight, especially for a ball club that has been grinding out those last few outs in ball games. And I'm sure Ron Renicky had a good night's sleep for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Solid inning with a strikeout for Jim Henderson. He had a good slider going last night. He was throwing as fast as 97 miles an hour.
And he might be out there today if it's a save situation.
John Axford saved the game on Monday night. Got the final 5 outs to do it. He was not available yesterday. And Henderson got the call and responded well. You never know how a player is going to respond to that situation. I remember Trevor Hoffman talking about the closer's role. There's nothing like it in baseball. It's the toughest job in the game. And there's just something different about trying to get the last 3 outs of a game.
That last line of defense. You are the guy. You either win it or you don't. Nobody backing you up.
A swing and a miss. And Frazier has gone on strikes. 2 gone to start the 4th inning for Randy Wolf.
Yeah, for $20, see the Brew Crew and the Zoo get 1 ticket to select Brewers games. 1 2012 admission ticket to the Milwaukee County Zoo, plus a free T-shirt. Visit brewers.com/zoo.
Two gone, and Miguel Cairo, who had the first hit for the Reds, he singled last inning. Cairo has put together a nice career for himself. 38 years of age, out of Venezuela. I first got to know him in the minor leagues in the Texas League. He was coming up through the Dodgers system at the time. Back in 1995, Miguel Cairo, he was one of the top second base prospects in the Los Angeles Dodgers system. Very good hitter. But he kind of redefined himself. You know, he's eventually made a name for himself as a utility man, as Wolf makes a nice stab, robs Cairo of a base hit, and that will retire the side. Excellent play by Randy Wolf. A 1-2-3-4.
They're behind 2-0 here at Miller Park. Hey, the Phillies come into town on Thursday, August 16th through Sunday, August 19th. Good seats are still available. Call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
Speaking of birthdays, Rock, I want to say happy birthday to Barb Stark. Longtime Brewers employee, pretty much from day one.
Yeah, she's great.
She's the senior administrator in the baseball operations department. Also, Doug Melvin, it's his birthday today.
Ed Cedar.
And third base coach Ed Cedar. So a trio of birthdays in the Brewers family today. And if we missed anyone.
Happy birthday, Barb. She's the only one probably that can hear us.
Right. She watches every game, even the webcast during spring training. Our audience of one. Ryan Braun leads off for Milwaukee as we play in the bottom of the 4th. 2-0 Reds on a Deoner Navarro home run. Big Matt Latos in his first year with the Reds out of Coconut Creek, Florida. Same high school as Brad Eldred. Braun fouls that one back. Braun is hitless in this series against the Reds. He's had that blister problem on his left hand. It doesn't look like the normal Ryan Braun. Chase that one, fouls it back.
Yeah, missing pitches that he's ordinarily rattling off the wall somewhere. And you get those hand issues. It affects you more than you would think, especially on that bottom hand. Pulling that bat through the strike zone. You know, that bottom hand right on the end where that knob rests, and sometimes that can give you a lot of problems. You have to grip the bat a little bit differently. He's got that pad on there, and talk to Ryan about that. He doesn't like it, but he has to wear it.
Hitters are so particular about their hands, their wrists. I mean, even down to sweatbands and the way the gloves feel on their hands. You can imagine to not have that feeling in the palm of his hand on his left hand for a hitter like Ryan Braun. I mean, these are guys who could tell you when a bat's too light or too heavy, and we're talking ounces. But as we have seen from Ryan Braun through the years, and this is his 6th year in the big leagues, when he goes through a little bit of a slide at the plate, he usually comes out of it with a bang. Got a nice new shiny helmet though, doesn't it? May have a few hits in it.
And perhaps the other one got destroyed somehow, miraculously. You know, guys get a little bit upset after a rough day at the plate.
Sometimes those ear flaps just fall off on their own.
I'm not saying that Ryan did that, but I think, you know, when you see a nice shiny helmet like that, that's the first thing that comes into my mind.
Shiny helmets and slumps kind of go hand in hand, you know what I mean?
Brand new bats.
The chicken or the egg. And Braun strikes out. Latos goes up the ladder with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
And climbing the ladder on Ryan Braun, and chases a high fastball up and in. A little bit tardy on it. It's a good pitch by Latos out of the strike zone, but still a pretty good spot.
Here's Aramis Ramirez. Braun very calmly putting that helmet back in the bay. Well, he's got some thinking going on, doesn't he? A perfectionist in every facet of the game, especially the hitting side of things.
Yep. We'll go back up into the video room and check out that at bat, see what he did wrong. Pitches he should have hit, pitches he probably shouldn't have swung at. Those types of things that they look at.
Well, Latos must have a wicked slider going today. We've seen a lot of swings and misses at that Latos slider in this game so far.
And it's getting better as the game's going on. The first inning it wasn't very good. And that one bounces in front of home plate.
Bud Ramirez doesn't fish after the next one. A lot of power coming out of that body. Matt Latos. Slow roller to short. Valdez. And a strong throw to get Ramirez. 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, the Blue Mirror Sports Bar and Bowl in Greenwood is our Tavern of the Game winner today. That's a long name for a place. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets. This offered courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You know, Greenwood, about the center of the state, population 1,079. Somebody here in R&D is doing some homework on Greenwood, Wisconsin. Is that you, Mike?
Is that the latest population, the latest census? Is that part of the Tavern of the Game bit?
It was today.
Now it is the last game of the homestand. You know, the crew trying to go out with a bang today. Not that they ever have to prove anything to us.
Right.
We hold all of our great crew here in Milwaukee in high regard.
The best.
Most of them anyway. Some of them anyway. A few of them.
One or two.
Now, we always love coming here. Always love getting back to our home team. And that means our crew. Mike Faulkner here in the booth. Stats man, Renee Hoffman, our stage manager. As Latos strikes out Corey Hart, a couple of Ks for Matt Latos. To the fifth we go, 2-0 Cincinnati.
Top 5 and time now for crew in the community. Before today's game, the Brewers Community Foundation presented Fisher House, Wisconsin with a check for $100,000. Fisher House is a hospitality house for families of injured military and veterans. It will break ground in 2013 on the VA grounds in Milwaukee. Brewer fans, the 5K run and walk, and sponsors all helping with today's big contribution. A true team effort, guys.
And that is an organization we stand by 100%, and can't do enough for those who serve our country and come back here, and especially in the Milwaukee area. And Rock, you've been heavily involved with the Fisher House over the last couple of years. You and Jonathan Lucroy, they do a great job over there. Can't wait to see the facility.
Yeah, I mean, what a great cause. And you know, the military folks, when they have to get into the VA, the families really have nowhere to stay, and that's certainly something that is much needed, you know, not only here in Milwaukee but all over our country. I owe them a great debt of gratitude, all of our men and women in the military.
Deanna Navarro, he rips this one into left center field. Gomez will run it down, almost overran it. Oh, he covered some ground. Carlos Gomez, as Navarro is retired. You might remember that Navarro had that shot on Monday that Aoki made the great catch that could have been a game changer.
This guy swings the bat pretty well. Nice quiet stroke. Not a lot of movement until that bat starts in that hitting zone, and a nice play by Carlos Gomez. That's a piece of cake for him. Actually overran it.
As fast as it gets. Here's Matt Latos. Latos can swing the bat a little bit, especially lately. Hit a 2-run homer in his last start against the Pirates on Friday, and had a single his last time up. He takes a rip at the plate. Overall this year, he's 6 for 42. That's a 143 batting average. But he looks like a hitter. He's got the first part taken care of. He's even got the ankle brace on.
Takes a mighty hack, and he'll run into one once in a while.
He rips that one to center field. 2 hits for the pitcher, Matt Latos.
We talked him right into that base hit, didn't we? He goes right with it. Back through the middle. Pitch out away from Latos. He's 6'6". He's got that long wingspan, able to reach that outside corner and poke it into center field. It's a pretty good hack. One place you don't want to make a mistake with a pitcher. Out away from him and up in the strike zone with off-speed pitches.
Liner to third. Ramirez to first. Latos is just back.
You crowd most pitchers with fastballs and you get them up a little bit. No chance. They're not going to have much of a chance. But leave them out over the plate. That's a different story.
Let's get back to our AT&T trivia question. Which two active Brewer pitchers have won games in 3 decades? The last 3 decades. And there you go. Randy Wolf and Livan Hernandez. You kind of gave that one away today, Rock. It is a badge of honor to pitch that long in the big leagues. Hernandez in his 17th year.
Now, I said that one of them is in the Brewers bullpen. I was not the one that got a shot of him on the screen.
Oh, yes, you did.
That would be Kevin Shank. He gave it away.
Or Pat O'Connor, either way.
Kevin's not here?
No, he's not here this week.
Huh.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
It's Randy Wolf. Strikes out Valdez. Next inning we'll play. We introduce Rock to the crew. The third inning. And a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers Baseball Club. Well, Matt Latos has one hit the Brewers through the first 4 innings. Milwaukee coming up. It'll be Ricky Weeks to start it. Weeks, Maldonado, and Segura. The Brewers have 1 hit and 1 walk. Incidentally, that walk that Latos issued in the second inning to Ramirez that snapped a streak. 23 2/3 innings without allowing a walk by the Red starters.
Well, you're not going to see a lot of walks on a pitching staff that is as good as the Reds. Up amongst league leaders in team earned run average. Starters don't walk batters. Relievers don't come in walking batters, and that's how you win games. Free passes, you got to avoid them. But that is an impressive stretch.
Latos is on a good run lately for the Reds. Brewers trying to figure out this big right-hander. We saw Latos as a member of the Padres, and he had a couple of very good games against Milwaukee. But I remember him throwing in the mid to upper 90s and a lot less command. I mean, he was throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. which is still in there. But it looks like to me, Rock, he's taken some speed off for some control. As Frazier makes a nice pickup and a throw to first to get Weeks.
Yeah, he's not throwing as hard as he was in his first start against Milwaukee here at Miller Park. He was getting it up there, rushing it up there in the mid-90s. Right now, as you mentioned, maybe looking for a little bit more movement on his fastball, keeping it down in the strike zone. You mentioned that he'd given up 20 home runs this year, and maybe looking for a little bit more downward movement as opposed to velocity. And getting most of his outs with the fastball today. In his first start, where he struck out 13, it was about the slider. He's leaving that pitch up in the strike zone today. That was a slider right there, up around the belt.
Inside, almost hit Maldonado. Time now for the Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. See Latos topping out at 95. Randy Wolf at 91. 2-0 Reds, scoring both runs with one swing of the bat. Deanna Navarro in the third inning. Maldonado with a batting average of .284. And he bounces that one to third. Frazier makes a play. Latos with two gone in the fifth. Not much going on offensively for Milwaukee. The walk he issued in the second inning was a leadoff walk. Latos stranded Ramirez at first base. And the hit he gave up in the third came with two outs. So he is not pitched from the stretch very much here today.
Well, Brewers really haven't hit too many balls hard off of Latos. That base hit was a flare into left by Aoki.
Gene Segura still looking for his first big league hit. Did drive in a run yesterday. Proved to be a big one. A little insurance late. Had an RBI on a ground out yesterday. And he did it on a 3-0 pitch. And batting out of the 8th spot in the order. Renicky was very impressed at Segura and that at bat. A lot of young hitters, in Renicky's words, don't really want to swing 3-0 even if they're given the green light. But Segura aggressive, knew the situation, the fact that he's batting 8th in front of the pitcher, and he did swing away and was able to deliver the run.
Well, even before that, the patience to get the 3-0 in a situation, a run scoring opportunity. And when you're up there and you're 22 years old, you're looking for your first hit. You show that patience, and then he was rewarded with a 3-0 pitch. Didn't get a hit, but he was able to drive in the run.
1-2 on Segura. Now, even the most confident of players, and by all accounts, Segura is that type of player, start getting into a hitless run now, and hasn't had a hit since he was promoted to the major leagues. Now 0 for 8 starts to mess with your mind a little bit. Slow roller, got a chance for one here. Valdez throws on the run. Segura safe, and there it is. Hit number 1 of his major league career for Gene Segura.
Yep, he got the skunk out of the box in game number 3. He will keep that baseball for a little memento. An infield hit, his first major league hit. And the Brewers are hoping one of many. That was a slider. He went down and got it. You can see how well he runs, getting down the line extremely well, right out of the box. And Valdez made a nice play, but Segura beat it at first base.
He was booking it pretty quickly down that line. I spoke to his AA manager in Arkansas when he was with the Angels. He described him as an explosive runner. He gets to full speed in a step or two, and he showed that right there. He was a big base stealer, in the minor leagues. Segura had 33 stolen bases last year and missed the final 2 months of the season with a hamstring injury. That's a big part of his game. First major league hit in his 4th major league start, his 3rd as a Brewer.
Well, they say he's a big time base stealer. He's got a 50 stolen base season under his belt in the minor leagues. Probably not a good opportunity to be running here. You don't want to be thrown out and have Wolf lead off the next inning.
Wolf down 0-2. There he goes. And a swing and a foul tip into the middle of Navarro for strike 3. So Latos is out of it. Segura makes a little history for himself here today. At Miller Park, good pitching matchup between Randy Wolf and Matt Latos. Well, the Packers are getting a little thin at left tackle. Marshall Newhouse is injured. Derek Sherrod still coming back from a broken leg last year. You can read Paul Emmig's story from training camp right now, foxsportswisconsin.com. Check back later in the day for more Packers coverage as well. They're underway in Green Bay. Good crowd today on a Wednesday afternoon. Randy Wolf trying to hold the Reds right where they are, give his offense a chance to figure out Matt Latos, who has given up just 2 hits. Brandon Phillips fouls one away. Phillips leads off, followed by Bruce, then Ludwig. 3, 4, and 5 in the Reds batting order. Every game of the National League other than this one is under the lights tonight. Got a day game going on at Fenway in Boston, and the Rangers have now opened up an 8-5 lead. Josh Beckett continues to struggle. He's given up 8 runs to the Texas Rangers as he pitches in the 6th inning.
Red Sox are having a tough time at home these days. Losing today. Red Sox at Fenway Park, 29-33.
Now that doesn't add up, does it?
No.
Been one of the toughest places for an opponent to go into. Not the case this year. Well, there's a lot of baseball left, but the American League East starting to take shape.
Baltimore Orioles just continue to hang in there. Nobody really gave them much of a chance to stick around. 8 games over 500. They won 4 in a row.
Had a walk-off yesterday. Adam Jones with a walk-off hit. Brought the Orioles within 4.5 of the Yankees after the Yankees have dropped 2 in a row. Tampa Bay is a team that's starting to get it together. They got Evan Longoria back in their starting lineup yesterday. He returned from a hamstring injury. And the Rays suddenly just 6 back of the Yankees. They've won 6 of their last 10. And a great pitching staff with Tampa Bay. Two and 2 to Brandon Phillips. Slower than slow curveball. Is that right? 49 miles an hour? It didn't even register on our speed gun.
That's like a slow pitch softball right here. Just dropping that one, trying to drop that one into the strike zone. Look at Brandon Phillips. He doesn't even move. Check him out.
He's just standing there smiling at Randy Wolf. What a character.
The slowest pitch of the year.
And Wolf let him get away. So Phillips draws a walk to lead off the 6th inning.
49-mile-an-hour curveball followed up by a fastball, and Brandon Phillips let it go. That's what you call changing speed.
Yes. I'm not sure I've ever seen a 49-mile-an-hour pitch.
Difference in speed about 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, not in professional baseball anyway.
Right.
See plenty of them up there on the terrace level. The speed pitch. That was something. 49. Well, you got to be known for something.
When's the last time you went into a speed pitch?
Oh, at the fair, man. Blew my arm out. I was getting ready for fantasy camp.
It's not easy to throw 50, 55 miles an hour. If you're not used to throwing.
I know. Had to hump it up to get it to 55 a little bit.
Of course, that's with my broken down arm.
Jay Bruce strikes out. Comes back with a K. Second time he has struck out Bruce in this game.
Every non-marquee home game, fans can purchase a half-price Lowe's bleacher ticket in the Club Goodwill bleacher section at Miller Park. Club Goodwill tickets are sold at the ticket windows in left field.
One gone for Ryan Ludwig. Brewers look for a ground ball. They'd love to turn 2, get Wolf out of this inning. Might see Phillips take off. Typically Phillips would be a stolen base threat, but he's coming off this calf injury, and I'm not sure how active on the bases he will be.
I know Dusty Baker's not looking for him to run. Doesn't have much of a lead. Doesn't really look all that interested in stealing a base. But you never know with Brandon Phillips. Kind of lull you to sleep playing possum over there.
Another throw to first. See if Phillips wipes his hands off on Corey Hart. No. Remember when Travis Ishikawa was playing first base earlier this year? Every time Phillips would go back to first, head first, he would wipe his hands on Travis's back.
And maybe Corey told him not to do that anymore.
Hey, don't touch me.
Travis Ishikawa might not mind, but hey, wipe your hands on your own pants.
Ryan Ludwig, 19 home runs this year. There's another slow curve. That was 68. That was much faster than his last curveball. How does he even change so much speed with this pitch?
Yeah, big break right down the middle this time. He's having a tough time locating that fastball in. Early in the game, a little bit different. but lately missing in off the plate. Hey, throw that pitch for strikes. That's when Randy Wolf really puts together, good outings. Hitters typically aren't going to swing at that pitch. When you're facing Randy Wolf, you're ordinarily looking away for something, a curveball, the cut fastball from time to time that he's going to try and backdoor, the changeup. It's when he can throw that fastball on the inside corner for strikes. That's when he's most effective.
2-2 to Ryan Ludwig. Bouncing ball through the right side, a base hit. Phillips on his way to third. Aoki's throw cut off, and Phillips ends up at third base on a single to right by Ludwig, and the Reds knocking at the door here in the 6th inning.
Man, it looked like he was running pretty well there. First to third, he had to stop for a second, let that ball get by him, and still able to make it into third base. Good piece of hitting by Ryan Ludwig on a fastball up and away. Phillips had to make sure that it didn't hit him, and still able to get to third. That's the disadvantage when you're playing very deep in the outfield. It takes a while for you to get there, and Phillips, even though he got a late break on it, able to get to third base.
Well, Wolf in trouble here. 2 on, just 1 out, and Todd Frazier coming up. Wolf has struck out Frazier twice. 6 strikeouts for Randy Wolf in the game. Actually 7 strikeouts now. Now Wolf faced Jay Bruce back in the 3rd inning in a potential game-changing moment, and retired Bruce with 2 on. And he's faced with another one of those situations right here. The way Matt Latos is pitching, certainly don't want to go down any further. Three balls and a strike on Frazier. Miguel Cairo will hit next. Jose Vera starting to get loose in the bullpen. And Wolf loses Frazier. So a 1-out walk loads the bases, and decision time for Ron Renicky.
Randy Wolf now over 100 pitches for the day at 102.
It is Rick Kranitz who is headed to the mound.
Early in the game, Todd Frazier swinging at that high fastball from Wolf. Did not do it in this at bat. Got a tough customer at the plate. He will roll into a double play, but a tough guy to strike out in Miguel Cairo.
Kranitz taking a peek at the home plate umpire, Angel Campos. Just a little shake of the head, wondering where that last fastball was. But that's the situation now for Randy Wolf. Bases loaded. Reds with an opportunity to bust the game open. It's 2-0. Cairo, who has a hit today, he's 1 for 2. With 1 out in the inning. And a little flare, right field, slicing. Aoki is there. He makes the catch. Phillips will tag, then stop. What a throw by Aoki. That played perfectly. Aoki shallow and toward the line. Runs it down for the out, and a big out at that for Randy Wolf.
A good job positioning Aoki in right field. He was shading to the line, a little bit shallow, and look at the way he's able to get his momentum toward home plate. That's a perfect strike to Maldonado, and Phillips has to stay put. A perfect throw by Noria Oki and saving a run for Randy Wolf for the time being.
Well, that changes the complexion of the inning now. 2 outs. And Deanna Navarro, who has swung the bat well today, he hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning and then hit one sharply into left center in the 5th inning that Gomez ran down in the gap. Cannot wait for that slow curveball from Randy Wolf.
Cairo going after the first pitch. He flies out, and then Navarro chases a curveball in the dirt. Reds are helping out Randy Wolf in this inning.
Another one. Navarro lays off this time. Well, Navarro has been in the minor leagues with the Reds this year. At one point he was a big part of a championship ball club, the Tampa Bay Rays in 08, American League champions. He was an all-star in 2008 representing the Rays.
That's got to be a tough pill to swallow, huh? All-Star, World Series, and you end up in AAA.
He hit .295 in 2008, the year he was an All-Star. A terrific catcher, but that batting average crashed after that. Hit under 200 in 2010. There's a bouncer. Oh, what a play by Ramirez. Can he finish it? The throw, a short hop. Hart makes the pick. Inning over on a fantastic play on both ends. Aramis Ramirez and Corey Hart. Beautifully done. Presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time.
What a play by Aramis Ramirez to end the 6th inning for Randy Wolf, saving at least 2 runs. That ball gets down the line, and that's going to be a 2-run double for Navarro. Who won the sausage race?
I didn't see. It was a close finish.
Okay. Everybody talks about Aramis Ramirez and how well he's been hitting, which indeed he has been, but he's committed only 6 errors. Made an error a few games ago, but before that, I mean, his defense has been impeccable this year. It's been a lot of fun to watch that guy the last couple of months.
Oh, some kind of play by Ramirez. Great pick by Corey Hart. And Randy Wolf gets out of a mess. Bases loaded, 1 out, and retires Cairo and Navarro. Nori Aoki wants it foul. Let's take a look at that play to end the Cincinnati 6. Home Depot doing more on defense.
And look, Ramirez able to stretch out right down the line, and he had the benefit of the catcher running. And how about the pick by Corey Hart? How good has he been at first base? This is one of the reasons why the Brewers have been so good defensively lately, because of the defense by Hart. Randy Wolf likes it. That play saved him 2 runs.
Well, no question, and he certainly would have been taken out of the ball game, Randy Wolf. Now, not only does he not give up more than 2 runs, but he's got a chance to win this game if the Brewers can make a comeback here in this inning.
How many errors has Corey Hart saved the infield since he's been over there?
Yep. It's a big reason why the Brewers have been so much improved defensively from the beginning of the year. He is a natural over there. Little half swing, and he goes. Aoki is rung up. And the first out. That is the 6th strikeout for Matt Latos.
Got him on that slider down and in. Chris Guccione, the third base umpire, rings him up. Let's see. Does he go? Yeah, look pretty close.
Latos has given up just 2 hits. One of those an infield hit. Only 3 base runners today. 2 hits and a walk. Carlos Gomez. Imperative that the Brewers get some base runners from the top of their order. Aoki is out. Gomez at the plate. You've got Braun on deck. You'd love to get Braun and Ramirez at the plate with some men on. Two and one on Gomez, with Braun waiting to hit next. Well, you know, Gomez is going to get a pitch he can handle here.
And being a little bit more patient. His first 2 times up, he swung at the first pitch. Working the count a little bit here.
Had a big rip. 3-2 is the count on Gomez. One of the benefits of hitting in front of Ryan Braun, you typically see a lot of strikes. Gomez a free swinger as it is. Gomez hit that one hard to center field. Back is Heisey at the wall. That ball's gone. Carlos Gomez, a solo home run. And the Brewers are finally on the board here in the 6th inning as Gomez belts his 10th.
Now, good job by Gomez waiting back. It was a slider from Latos that stayed up. Right down the middle of the plate. Watch how nice and easy he swings at this baseball. I mean, for him, that's a nice easy swing. You know, slider. Left it up in the zone, and look at the point of contact for Gomez, and nice follow through. And the Brewers on the board. The 21st home run allowed by Matt Latos this year.
And now Ryan Braun, a swing and a miss. He figured Latos wasn't going to take the risk of walking Gomez, and he got a slider he could handle, and handle it he does. Off the batter's eye and straightaway center field. His first home run since July 29th against the Nationals. Chopper over to short. Valdez winds it up and retires Braun. 2 outs. So Carlos Gomez, his 10th homer Brewers leading the league in home runs. Braun still at the top with 29 on the Powerball home run leaderboard. Two outs for Aramis Ramirez. Well, for Gomez, every home run he hits is a new career high. That home run he hit against Washington on the 29th established a new mark. And a lot of baseball to be played, and you think about Gomez missing 3 weeks as well with a hamstring injury. Brings the Crew within a run. Two and one on Ramirez. That one's in there for a strike. 2-2. Latos with 6 strikeouts. That is a fair ball. Frazier a long throw, and it's in time to retire the side. But Carlos Gomez gets into one. His 10th homer of the year, and the Brewers within a run.
Randy Wolf pitching a pretty good game here today. He's gotten through 6 innings. Looks like his day is done. Matt Latos again backing up a pretty good start against Milwaukee. Back in June, it was a Diana Navarro 2-run home run that gave the Reds a 2-0 lead until Carlos Gomez knocks one out of here in a 3-2 pitch, his 10th of the year. And the Brewers find themselves trailing now 2-1.
6 in the books. We head to the 7th. Beautiful day in Milwaukee. Got some thunderstorms coming in tonight, but right now it's just a perfect afternoon here. Cool temperatures. Brewers looking for the sweep of the Cincinnati Reds today. And they'll turn it over to Jose Veras. We talked about the Reds and their terrific bullpen. And wondering, because of that bullpen and the success that Dusty Baker has had, when he hit Matt Latos, but Latos will indeed come out to hit to start this 7th inning.
Yeah, when you look at Dusty Baker, you would never be able to tell if they're winning or losing. Very, very relaxed in that dugout. Yeah. Having a good time with that toothpick. We don't recommend to do that at home. Got to be a nice calming influence in that dugout. It's one of the keys to being a good leader. Never let him see a sweat.
Well, he's seen a lot in this game. Dusty Baker has a pretty popular baseball camp just in the Bay Area. Sacramento. Matter of fact, CC Sabathia, former camp participant. Manny Parra attended that camp for many years, the Dusty Baker baseball camp.
Speaking of Manny Parra, he had a simulated game today. I don't ever recall a guy having a simulated game that's not actually on the disabled list.
Yeah, good point.
He was out there throwing to Ishikawa, Cody Ransom.
How'd it go? Did you get in there and take a look?
I was behind the cage watching. I know Manny was beating up Marcus Hamill pretty good with that split-fingered fastball. Been a while for Manny.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. The fact that Parra has not been available to pitch, he's hurt, but he has not been put on the disabled list.
Been since July 24th against the Phillies.
As Latos draws the walk. How about the Reds pitcher today on base for the third time? Well, a once-in-a-generation event is taking place at Miller Park on Saturday, August 11th, as the Stars and Stripes Honor Flight presents Field of Honor, a salute to the greatest generation. The event will bring together thousands of World War II vets and vets from other conflicts, their families, friends, and communities. Tickets for this event can be purchased online at starsandstripeshonorflight.org.
Yeah, we're expecting a nice crowd here at Miller Park for that. We will be in Houston, unfortunately. I was over at the VA hospital, a couple of months ago with Jonathan Lucroy and talked to a number of World War II veterans at the VA. Fascinating stories.
The greatest generation. The VA hospital nearby. Big part of the landscape here around Miller Park. Former grounds of County Stadium as well. Little flare right field. Aoki got a long way to go. He can't get there. Throw to second is in time for the force. Nori Aoki kept it in front of him, and a strong enough arm to get Latos at second base.
Well, the advantage of having the pitcher out there on the bases, that was a tough call for Latos, and that will cost Chris Hazy a base hit. Boy, position players hate that. Aoki playing very deep out there in right. He comes in strong, but realizes he can't get there, and has the presence of mind to realize that Latos running and doesn't even bother sliding. That's a big out.
And it'll go as a 9-6 put out, with Heisey reaching on a fielder's choice.
Hang with him.
Yeah, no base hit. Well, instead of 2 on and nobody out, Veras potentially a pitch away from getting out of this inning. Might see Heisey take off here. Valdez, good contact hitter. Reds have a 2-1 lead. Martín Maldonado in St. Louis last Friday had a 3-error game, but as soon as the Brewers returned home on Monday, he was out early with Jerry Naran, who handles the Brewer catchers, and he was working on his throws and trying to get back on top of the baseball, and he's actually thrown the ball well since then.
It's all about the footwork. Everybody thinks there's something wrong with his arm and his arm angle, but that's all a function of slow feet, not getting your feet in position to throw. Arm drops, and that's when the ball sails on you, and that's what happened to Maldonado in St. Louis.
Broken bat. Veras to second. And Segura taken out at second base.
Not a very good throw by Jose Veras.
Segura down for a little bit. Certainly got spiked as Heisey went in there hard on this shortstop. And the throw disrupted the timing of Segura.
Watch him has to get down on the right back on the bag, and because of that he has to get out of the way. Heisey coming in high. You get a good throw chest high, that's probably a double play, but at least they were able to get one.
Watch the left ankle of Segura, the left foot or ankle. Well, that could have been a disaster for Jean Segura. Remember, he's just learning the shortstop position. Started playing there last year. So there's some footwork issues that he still has to work out, trying to learn the position.
Makes it even tougher when you don't get a good throw. He did a nice job adjusting, just getting it out. That's the thing about the infield. I mean, whether you're at first base or wherever you are, you can't count on a perfect throw. You always have to be ready to go one way or another, up, down, left or right. Always important he makes sure a one. Double plays a bonus.
Jose Veras with 2 away. Looking ahead to the Brewers' 7th inning. Corey Hart, Ricky Weeks, and Martin Maldonado will start it for the Brew Crew. Down a run at this point. It's 2-1. Phillips, he is 1 for 2 with a walk today. Has just 1 hit in the series. That single in the 3rd inning off Randy Wolf. Go to first, and close play. Valdez just back. That gives you an idea of where Maldonado is with his confidence throwing the baseball.
Yeah, well, you notice he took a little bit more time on that pickoff play just to make sure that his feet were in position. And because of that, he was able to get off a good throw. He tried to be too quick, that arm drops, and that ball has a chance to get down the right field line.
Tied him up. 1-2 on Phillips.
Now we do an instructional on that, but I don't think I could do it. Get down in the crouch and then have quick feet.
You could get down in the crouch.
Yeah, but the quick feet, that's out of the question.
The getting back up part.
Yeah, we could do it in super slow motion, but we got a nice treat for our instructional today.
Oh yeah?
Bruce Fleming's coming out.
Ah, the old crew chief. Talking umpiring today.
Mm-hmm. And actually, Bruce is going to be moving around pretty good. We're talking about making calls in the outfield, being in position for umpires. And so it's not me that's going to be quick on my feet. It's going to be Bruce.
I'm going to watch just to see Bruce Fleming run.
Bruce is looking good these days.
Yeah, he's much lighter than he was when he was umpiring.
He has lost a ton of weight, and he looks great. He does. He's going to surprise you with his quickness.
No, I've seen it. Cat-like reflexes, both of you guys. Maybe you and Davey and Bruce ought to line up and do a sprint.
Yeah, good idea.
Not enough athletic trainers in the building. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Veras strikes out Brandon Phillips. Inning over. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Stretch time in Milwaukee.
Brewers trail 2-1 right now, going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Time now for social media. Our payoff, Mike Fiers, Rookie of the Year. We all agree, I'm sure, is at least a candidate. How about the fans?
Yeah, Ron Renneke said after last night's game, absolutely, Mike Fiers deserves to be a candidate for NL Rookie of the Year. So we asked fans on @FSWisconsin, do you agree with the manager and why? Using the hashtag FiersROY. Scott tweeted us and said, absolutely a top contender. Has been a stopper, consistent, and now showing he can do it against teams multiple times. Andrew also agreed, saying Fiers should definitely be considered in the Rookie of the Year talks. He has been more consistent than Harper and Miley. That in reference to Bryce Harper of the Nationals and Wade Miley of the Diamondbacks. So Brewers fans making their case for Mike Fiers, and BA and Rock, the Reds might want to make a case for some of their guys in their dugout.
Certainly their shortstop, Zach Cozart, who's performing very well this year. Batting average is a little low, but he's been productive with the home run ball, playing a great shortstop every day. Yeah, Reds fans would make a case. But Brewers fans are right with you, Sophia. They would like to see Mike Fiers start to enter into the conversation a little more outside of Milwaukee.
Well, just because he got off to a late start, he's only had 2 starts where he's back-to-back starts. After his start against the Dodgers, 4 runs in each of those, but since that time, I mean, he has been much better than anyone could have ever imagined he would be. When he first made a start in LA, nobody was really sure how long he was going to stick around. Maybe a start or 2 and then get sent back, but it's been a lot of fun to watch him.
Ricky Weeks pops one foul and out of play. Matt Latos back on the mound to pitch the 7th inning. It's 2-1. Latos, for the most part, has shut the Brewers down. The only run was a Carlos Gomez home run last inning. But there hadn't been a whole lot going on offensively for the Brewers. 91 pitches is all. Latos had a finisher against Milwaukee back in June. Had back-to-back complete games that week, as a matter of fact, against the Brewers and the Giants, which earned him the Player of the Week in the National League in June. And he certainly is in the range to finish this one here today if he keeps rolling like he is. Dusty Baker's not afraid to let these starting pitchers go deep into games.
91 pitches right now, make that 92 pitches for Latos here in the 7th.
It's a trouble spot against Cincinnati. The Brewers are right in it. You don't want to get behind with this great bullpen, which is not giving up much. As a matter of fact, their closer, Aroldis Chapman, did not allow a run in July. As Weeks foul tips it into the mitt, and a strikeout on Ricky Weeks. Weeks is saying it hit the ground. First base umpire disagrees. 2 outs. Strikeout number 7 for Latos.
Well, the glove hit the ground, not the baseball. That was a good call. Into the webbing, and Ricky and out.
So here is Maldonado. Brewers down a run. Another one in there. Quickly 0-2 on the Brewer catcher. Now, normally day games here at Miller Park present some challenges for the hitter this time of day, but because of the cloud cover, this is what you would call ideal hitting conditions. There are no shadows. But Latos still tough to handle.
Yeah, well, pitchers have a lot to do with ideal hitting conditions.
That's true. Here's the 1-2 and a swing and a miss. Leto strikes out Maldonado, and he is through 7. Just 1 run. 2-1 Reds. We go to the 8th. Looking forward to our trip to the Lone Star State. That's a good looking dog right there, huh? What's on tap? Courtesy of Miller Lite. Brewers start the series with the Astros Friday. It's a 3-game series. And then off to Colorado. 6-game road trip in all. Moving our way to the 8th inning now. John Axford is on the mound in a 2-1 Cincinnati lead.
A couple of nights ago, notched his 18th save of the year. That pitch extended. Did not give up a run. Only 1 base hit and an inning and 2/3. He came into the game with the bases loaded. In that 8th inning, as Jonathan Lucroy takes over behind home plate in a double switch.
Lucroy will hit second in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Renicky must hope that Axford can give him 2 innings here today, possibly. Normally he does not double switch unless he's asking for multiple innings from his pitcher. First things first, he's dealing with Jay Bruce to start it. Bruce, Ludwig, and Frazier, 4, 5, and 6 in the Reds order. 0 for 3 today. Bruce has been relatively quiet in this series. He has been a handful for Brewer pitching this year. Bruce has struck out twice today. His first 3 at-bats against Randy Wolf. And it's 1-2 on Bruce. Bruce has just 1 hit in this series.
A very streaky hitter, to say the least, Jay Bruce. You catch him when he's swinging the bat well, he will take you apart. But when he gets into these stretches where he has a tough time, that's when you want to face the Reds, when he's not hitting well.
Bruce is 1 for 11 in this series, and now 4 strikeouts.
Of course, the Brewers haven't seen him too often when he hasn't been swinging the bat well.
He seems to be the one that the Brewers have a tough time with, he and Votto, but Votto gives everybody a tough time. Bouncing ball to Weeks, and Jay Bruce retired. 0 for 4 today for the big right fielder. Ho Chunk Gaming text question: how many games can a player play in a season and still be eligible for Rookie of the Year the next season?
Well, it's not so much games, it's at bats for a position player. He has to go under 130 at bats. If he has more than that, 130 or more, he cannot be a rookie the following season. And for a pitcher, there's a 50 innings limit. If you pitch 50 innings, or if you pitch 49 or less, you can be a rookie the next year. And there's another one. You have to be under 45 days on an active roster, which means you can be on the disabled list. That's not the active roster. If you have less than 45 days in a given year on an active roster, you can be considered a rookie the following year.
And that's where Zach Cozart is, the red shortstop. He was in the big leagues last year, but he was injured and did not meet that requirement. So that's why he's still considered a rookie this season. Depending on how much Gene Segura plays, that could be close for next year. A strike called. Axford with a slider strikes out Ryan Ludwig. Rocky's been going to that slider a great deal in his last 2 outings, and it's been a pretty effective pitch for him.
Yeah, I didn't see it much last year. It was basically fastball, curveball for Axford, but this slider is a pitch that he's a little bit more consistent in throwing strikes. That was a good one right on the outside corner.
Starting to put the pieces back together is Axford. He picked up his 18th save on Monday night. He got the final 5 outs for that save as well. This is a huge final couple of months for John Axford. I mean, the Brewers, to get themselves back in a position to be a contender, if you're looking at next year, Axford has to be a part of that. I mean, he is a guy who is so dominant as the Brewers closer. 49 consecutive games he saved. And more than any other piece, if you don't have that closer's piece taken care of, it can make for a long season. As the Brewers are finding out this year. But hopefully Axford is on his way back. He's got Frazier 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Todd Frazier.
And it just leaves that bullpen in a shambles. Nobody really knows what's going on down there, when they're going to be used. That's to where the Brewers bullpen is right now. Just be ready.
Very few successful teams have a bullpen by committee, and you need only look to the Cincinnati Reds. When they established Chapman as their closer in mid-May, they took off. It's just something about that role, and knowing psychologically, knowing you've got the 9th inning covered. Hopefully Axford's on his way back. Frazier pops it up, and this will be a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Axeman. He's coming back strong. Bottom of the 8th, Brewers down a run.
are batting in trail only by a run, and Gene Segura is set to appear in this inning for the Brewers. Last at bat got his first major league hit as we take a look at our AT&T U-verse reverse. Pretty special stuff that he's going to remember.
Oh, and there's no doubt about it. And I tell you what, he is very happy he got that hit because it really takes a load off his back, and maybe he can relax a little bit more at the plate.
Got some Davey Nelson wheels going.
He
down
can
the
run
line.
there. There's no doubt. He can pick him up and lay him down. I like that.
All right, let's see what he can do to maybe spark a rally here by Milwaukee. New pitcher for the Reds, literally here, Brian.
Now Jonathan Broxton is on the mound. Some changes for the Cincinnati Reds. Chris Heisey moves over to left field as Drew Stubbs enters the game in center. And big Jonathan Broxton on the mound for Cincinnati. This is one of the big pickups prior to the trade deadline for the Reds. They were on the hunt for a leadoff hitter, maybe a left-handed bat. Couldn't find that, but they added a major piece to the back end of their bullpen. He goes from the Royals closer to the Red setup man for Aroldis Chapman.
As if they were not good enough before they acquired Jonathan Broxton, this guy's going to make him even better. The setup man, he's the 8th inning guy. Has not been scored upon in his last 3 appearances.
Gene Segura with the Brewers down a run. Leading off, Jonathan Lucroy will hit next, and then back to the top of the order. And there's strike 1 on Segura. Segura's been batting 8th. Renicky trying to take a little pressure off of him, but he trends as a guy who can hit at the top of the order, either first or second. Got a lot of speed. He's a good bunter. And he packs a little punch, too. Three and 1.
Showing good patience, laying off that slider from Broxton. He'll throw it in the mid-90s. A slider to go with it. He had 23 saves for the Royals this year before coming over.
The Royals signed him to be a setup man for Joakim Soria. Soria injured for the season early, and Broxton regained that role. Strike 2. There was a time when Jonathan Broxton was as unhittable as any pitcher in the game. When he was closing games for the Dodgers. Full count to the rookie shortstop. Stays alive. Broxton doesn't have the overpowering fastball that he did back then when he was clipping away for the Dodgers, but he still gets it up in the mid-90s.
Right, he used to be a 98 guy.
Yeah. And a 36 save season with the Dodgers. Made a couple of all-star teams for Los Angeles. Things fell apart for him a little bit last year, and he ended up with the Royals and now the Reds. 3 and 2. Segura spoils another one. Able to fight off that slider from Broxton. Good battle here with the young shortstop. Broxton has been perfect as a Red. He's only given up 1 hit in his 3 games pitched. Segura hanging tough.
Able to get on top of that high fastball, foul it off. Looks like he covers the plate pretty well. In and out. Stays on that breaking pitch in the outside corner.
An 8-pitch at bat so far. Pitch number 9 from Broxton on the way. left field. Pretty well hit, but Heisey is there.
And just a little bit out on his front foot, but he was able to get the bat on it. Hit it on a sweet spot, but because he wasn't able to wait back on the slider, Heisey able to go back and get it. Nice battle by Gene Segura, a 9-pitch at bat. That slider a little bit out in front on his front foot, but he hit it well. Just a little bit of a reach there. The only reason why he wasn't able to drive it somewhere.
So it'll be Lucroy batting for the first time. Came in defensively on a double switch last inning. 2-1 Reds. Bottom of the 8th. Top of the order next, Aoki. Brewers desperate to get something going here. Only 1 run today, a home run by Gomez in the 6th. Just 4 base runners today, 3 hits and a walk. As Matt Latos goes 7 innings with just 1 earned run allowed. Latos struck out 8 and is in line to win his 4th consecutive start for the Reds. Throw a slider on a 2-0 count. Strike 1. Broxton had 23 saves for the Royals this season. He's had 4 blown saves for Kansas City as Lucroy skies one right field. Bruce down in the corner. He's got it for the out. 2 outs.
Yeah, Luke had a pretty good pitch to hit right there. And low 90s fastball, pretty straight. Not a whole lot of movement on that Broxton fastball. Lucroy just a little bit behind it.
Two outs for Nori Aoki. Aoki's been known to flash a little power late in games in spots like this. Starts him with a curveball for a strike. Aoki has 6 home runs, 25 driven in. You see his day today at the plate presented by Wendy's. Extended his hitting streak to 11 in a row with that single in the 3rd inning. Two and one. Randy Wolf started for the Brewers, went 6 innings, 2 earned runs allowed. Seen some fine defense in this game today. Reds got their 2 runs with 1 swing of the bat by the catcher Navarro, a 2-run homer. That was back in the 3rd. 2-2 on Aoki.
Pitching has been very good. The Reds 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position today, and the Brewers up to this point have not had a man at second base. Only run coming on that Gomez homer in the 6th.
Saw Lowe and Henderson in the bullpen. Little chopper, going to be a tough play, and no chance. infield hit as Broxton digs up a divot. And the tying run is aboard as Nori Aoki with his second hit of the ball game. And that will give Gomez another swing.
Yep, and he'll represent the go-ahead run. This is what it looked like in the 6th inning. A slider from Latos on a 3-2 pitch. He knocks it out of here to center field, getting the Brewers on the board.
Well, Carlos Gomez, a Pizza Hut delivery of the game back in the 6th. He'd like to add one more to it. Ryan Braun is on deck. That certainly affects how Broxton will pitch to Gomez. Showed a lot of patience in his last at bat, and he was rewarded with a hitter's count and a pitch he could handle, which he did not miss. His first 2 times up, he swung at the first pitch and made outs. Tying run at first. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, and Broxton will take a look at Aoki.
Let's see if the Brewers have something going here. Maybe try and steal a base, get into scoring position. Broxton takes a while to get rid of it.
Aoki has 13 steals. He's been caught 3 times.
Got a good lead over there.
And Broxton again checks on him. He could run on Broxton. That was always the case when he was closing games for the Dodgers. He just couldn't get on base very often against him.
And not many closers hold runners very well.
There he goes. High and tight. Throw to second. Into center field. And Aoki on his way to third. A stolen base and an error. Navarro threw it into center field. Phillips went for the pick.
Yeah, he had a pretty good shot at getting him if he makes a good throw. Odds the arm is going to drop. Kind of slow feet. The arm drops. It sails, and a good throw gets Aoki. Brandon Phillips kind of a haphazard effort over there at second base to grab it. And into center field for the Brewers. Tying run 90 feet away.
Aoki safe at third. Safe and secure. New York Life. 2 outs in the inning. Gomez a chance to tie it up. A long ball gives the Brewers the lead. And it's 2-0 now. And now Gomez can really zero in with Ryan Braun looming large on deck.
You figure he's going to get a very hittable pitch here.
Gomez, a little flare, and it's going to fall. A base hit. Aoki will score, and we are tied at 2. Just enough to get it over the head of Wilson Valdez.
Yeah. I mean, within an inch of catching that baseball, maybe 2, but a jam shot on a 2-0 count. Able to muscle it out of, just out of the reach of Wilson Valdez, and we are tied here at Miller Park. There you go.
Carlos Gomez responsible for both of the tallies today. That was close. Valdez by a couple of inches. And you know Gomez is ready to run here. Gomez is the club's top base stealer, has 20 this year. Ryan Braun at the plate. Gomez the go-ahead run. And there he goes. Braun lets him run, and Navarro can't find a baseball. Second steal of the inning. And a base hit will give the Brewers the lead now.
And Gomez not messing around at all. First pitch, he takes off, and even had Navarro been able to keep the ball in his glove, there's no way he was going to be able to throw him out. A huge lead, a good jump, and no chance at second base, even if Navarro made a throw.
Stolen base number 21.
Well, first base open, and let's see what the Reds elect to do here.
Ryan Price, Cincinnati pitching coach. Chadwick Broxton.
Well, you got last year's MVP at the plate, and you have a red-hot hitter on deck. Choose your poison.
The Dusty Baker bullpen letting a lead get away. A rare occasion this year. A bullpen that leads the league in wins and earned run average. A ball and no strikes on Ryan Braun. Gomez with a huge lead at second base.
Well, you're in scoring position. You got Ryan Braun at the plate. You steal third base, you better be able to walk to third. Better not get thrown out.
Braun into left center. That is going to get down. A base hit. Gomez scores. Braun on his way to second. The throw not in time. The Brewers have the lead. And Braun's first hit of the series gives Milwaukee the lead in the 8th inning.
Yeah, a hustle double. Well, nothing really hit all that hard in this inning. 2 outs and nobody on. A swinging bunt by Aoki, a jam shot by Gomez, and a slider that Braun gets right off the end of the bat and dumps it into left field. And the Brewers with a 2 spot here in the 8th. How about that?
Marshfield Clinic's shining moment of the game. Gomez, after the stolen base, scores the run. Broxton will exit as Braun delivers in the clutch. 2 runs in, and the Brewers with a 3-2 lead. We'll take a break. With a couple of runs here at the bottom of the 8th inning. Carlos Gomez with an RBI single to tie it, and then he scores on the Ryan Braun double. The Brewers chase Jonathan Broxton, and now Dusty Baker will go at Logan Andrusek with 2 outs and Ramirez coming up.
And good numbers for Andrusek, but his last appearance was not a very good one against the Pittsburgh Pirates back on August 5th. He gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned, or I should say 2 runs, 1 earned in an inning of work. Carlos Gomez involved in everything today. A couple of RBIs and 2 runs scored. Good day for Gomez.
And a key stolen base. 2 of them, Aoki and Gomez stealing bases. As Andrusek on orders to walk Aramis Ramirez intentionally, which is going to put runners at first and second. How about Ryan Braun, though? Here's a guy who is hitless in the series. He's mired in this slump, has not looked good at the plate, but when the game's on the line and it matters most, he does what MVPs do.
Yeah, he takes it to another level. Kind of interesting that Dusty Baker would bring in Andrusek and then walk a batter instead of doing it the other way around. And leave Broxton in there, have him walk him, and then take him out.
So an intentional walk. And first and second, 2 outs for Corey Hart. Three to 2 Brewers. In a position to sweep the division leading Reds. 2 stolen bases in the inning. You can understand Navarro's frustration. The Reds catcher. Credit Aoki. 2 outs, nobody on. Aoki reached on an infield hit. He stole second. Went to third on the throwing error, then scored on Gomez's base hit.
And Navarro makes a good throw when Aoki's running to second, and that inning's over. He made a terrible throw, ended up in center field, and Brewers able to get 2 runs.
It's the first blown save for the Reds since July 13th. Had a blown save against St. Louis. This is not a bullpen that has given up much. A ball and a strike, and Hart takes strike 2. John Axford worked a scoreless 8th inning. Axford retired the Reds in order. Jim Henderson, who saved the game last night, his first big league save, looks like he's going to get another chance. Bouncing ball to third. Frazier will go to the bag. Inning over, but the Brewers down 2-1 when it started. Get 2 on the board. They take the lead. 3-2 Milwaukee. To the 9th we go. Been a comeback for Milwaukee. Matt Latos very strong through 7 innings, but Gomez ties it with an RBI single, and Braun puts the Brewers ahead 3-2 as we go to the ninth. Jonathan Broxton giving up the lead in the 8th inning. Meanwhile, the Brewers bullpen, after Randy Wolf exited in the 6th, getting a scoreless inning from Veras, same for Axford, and now Jim Henderson. Columbia St. Mary's save tracker at 1. That was last night. 3 up and 3 down to retire the Reds.
He looked good after his first couple of pitches. Way out of the strike zone, able to settle down and continue to pound the strike zone. Threw his slider for strikes. He's got the 7, 8, and 9 hitters coming up here in the top of the 9th.
I spoke to Henderson before the game today, and he said after the first 2 pitches last night, he had to step back. He fell behind 2-0. Had to step back and remember his new mechanics. He's always been able to throw hard, but Henderson has just found a new groove where he's throwing strikes and shows a very good slider. Facing Xavier Paul to start the 9th inning. Henderson threw his fastball as high as 97 miles an hour last night. Three up, 3 down, 9th inning saves have been hard to come by for the Brewers. Henderson with the slimmest of margins to work with this afternoon. 0-2 the count on Xavier Paul.
Yeah, well done on the outside corner.
Paul's been Dusty Baker's best pinch hitter lately. He's 5 for 11. Had a pinch hit RBI single on Monday night as the Reds were trying to come back in the 8th inning. Got him. Slider strikes out Paul.
Well, he hung up in the strike zone, but it was the speed that got Xavier Paul out in front of it. Not exactly where you want it. You want it down and in, but that ball right down the middle, and Xavier Paul swings right through it.
1 gone. And here is Deanna Navarro. Switch hitting catcher. A frustrating defensive inning for Navarro. And you know he'd love a chance at redemption as Henderson keeps pouring in the strikes. 4 pitches, 4 strikes for Jim Henderson to start this 9th inning.
Ryan Hannigan, the other catcher, looking on.
See the splits on Navarro throughout his career. He has spent most of the year in AAA for the Reds. Well, the perhaps signature moment of this series so far was with Navarro at the plate on Monday when he drove one into the right center field gap. Looked like it was going to get down and clear the bases and give the Reds a lead. But Nori Aoki made a sliding backhanded catch, which was a game saver, and the Brewers would go on to win. Navarro homered in the 3rd. Oh, didn't miss by much.
That's a good slider. That's where he wanted the last one to Xavier Paul, but he got the strikeout anyway. Perfect pitch. But Navarro did not chase.
2-2 the count on Navarro. Got him. Another strikeout for Big Jim. Back-to-back Ks. And the Reds down to their last out.
And you can't walk it across home plate any better than that. Right on the corner. Wow, just trying to get a piece to stay alive.
That is some life on that fastball. It's not just the velocity, it has some movement. Drew Stubbs, who came in the game defensively last inning, will bat. He's the Reds' last hope. He's got some pop. Stubbs with 14 home runs on the year. Brewers never led until the 8th when Braun plated Gomez to give him a 3-2 lead. The Brewers get 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs. And now Henderson trying to finish it off. Strike 1. Stubbs very fast. Does have some power. He does strike out a lot as well. Hitting .235 for the Reds. He's their everyday center fielder. And he shoots one foul. 1-2 the count.
Yeah, behind the fastball that ate him up inside. He struck him out last night on a slider off the outside corner. See what he does to him today.
Jim Henderson has them on their feet. Just shy of 34,000. The 1-2 outside.
Tried it again.
Stubbs didn't bite. "10 years in the bushes, hoping for a chance. At 29 years of age, he gets it. 2-2 pitch. Stubbs lays off again, and the count goes full. Renicky even saying he normally swings at that, right?
Going to throw another one there. He's going to swing at it.
Tried back-to-back sliders. What does he give him here? The payoff pitch, and he does not bite. Stubbs draws the walk, and there's the tying run. Well, now you wonder if Stubbs is going to be on the move. He is a great base stealer.
And Heisey not known for his power. He's only got 4 home runs. You would figure he's going to try and steal a base.
Stubbs is Cincinnati's best stolen base threat. He has 25 steals for the year. Chris Heisey at the plate as Henderson tries to keep him close. Heisey today in the leadoff spot. He's 0 for 4. Heisey with 4 homers this season, 21 driven in. Maldonado started the game behind the plate for the Brewers. Lucroy entered last inning. Henderson an out away. Heisey takes strike 2. Another fastball. He was looking for the breaking ball. And Henderson ahead of him 0-2.
And both fastballs at 95 miles an hour.
Henderson said he was nervous yesterday. So there's a big difference between closing games in Nashville and AAA than the big leagues. But he composed himself. 0-2. Stubbs goes. And Lucroy can't get the handle. And now the tying run is in scoring position.
That's a good take. That pitch had to play just until the last second. And Heisey able to hold off.
The ball and 2 strikes. With Stubbs' speed, a base hit will tie it if it's to the outfield. One and 2 to Heisey. Into right field. Nori Aoki right there. And Jim Henderson making a name for himself. back-to-back saves against the division-leading Reds. And the Brewers win 3-2. They sweep Cincinnati. First team in the National League that has swept the Reds all season. A late rally, 2 in the 8th. Gomez and Braun deliver the big hits. Henderson saves it. John Axford picks up the victory, and the Brewers will head to Houston with 3 straight wins. Much more still to come. Craig Kashawn standing by for Brewers Live. Craig?
How about that Brewer outfield in the 8th inning at the plate? Not too shabby by the threesome. We'll catch up with them when we come back to start Brewers Live. Brewers a winner tonight, 3-2.